Okay, so hello everyone. This is part 12 of our React.js playlist. So in this video, we will learn how to how event handling works in React.js. Okay. In JavaScript, we already know how we can handle the event, but today we will learn how we can handle the event in React.js. Okay. So basically, what we are going to create in order to learn event handling. So we are going to create, okay, let me close this. Okay, so we are going to create, so let me draw first, then so you will get the basic idea what we are going to create. Okay, so we will create a counter. Okay, so we will create a counter. Okay, so here is the card, right? So here card, in card we will write heading. We'll write heading. What heading we will write? Okay, let me take the font size 26. Okay, so here we will write the heading. What counter? Basically we are going to create a counter, and we will learn how this counter work exactly. Okay, so like this, and there would be two buttons. Okay, okay, so here are two buttons, and we have one screen. Okay, on screen what you will do, so on screen you will see a number, like here 4. Let's take an example. 4 is a number. Okay, and here on button we will write basically, right, increment. Okay, so this actually we will create in React.js, and through this we will learn event handling, right, and decrement, right. So when we click on this button, when we click on this increment button, right, when we click on this button, so this will increase. Okay, this count will increase, and when we click on this button, so this count will decrease. So this is a basic idea. Okay, this is a basic idea we will create. Okay, so before creating the functionality in buttons, first we will create the structure. First we will create the card, okay, using Bootstrap. Okay, so we have our project. Okay, so we have our project already. In app.js there is no code, so I will write the code in app.js. Okay, so I will write the basic code only. So I will create function const app, okay, parenthesis, and this is what arrow function, and after that we will write return. Okay, and then empty and closing tag, right. So let me write some message here whether it's working or not. Hello. Okay, for checking purpose I am writing here what's the error. We need to export this function also. Export default, what's the function name, app. Okay, I already started the server. Okay, npm start is a key to start the server. So hello world output is coming, means our code is working perfectly fine. Okay, so what we are going to create, we are going to create this counter. So this is what a component. Okay, so we will create a component folder. Where exactly we will create the component folder? In src. Inside an src we will create component folder. Okay, component, right, components, and inside the component folder we will create a file. Okay, counter.js. Okay, counter.js, and here we will write our code. Which code you will write? We will write the code for counter. Okay, so first what I will do, I will write here count. I will create the function const, okay, counter equals to, then return. Okay, let me press enter. Return, and here empty and closing tag, right. So what I will do here, I will create the card. Okay, so I will create the container, div dot container. Okay, and then margin top would be 3. So what I'm using here, I'm using Bootstrap class. Okay, in previous lectures we already learned like how we can configure the Bootstrap. If you don't know how to configure the Bootstrap, you can refer that videos, right? So we created the container. Inside the container, I'll create a row class, div row, right? And inside the row, I will create column, div dot call md3, right? And here I will create the card, div dot card, okay? And I will create the card header. Inside the card, I will create the card header, div dot card header, right? Right. So let me write here normally header, okay? And then I will write the card body, div dot card, right? Body, card body. So let me write the body for just checking purpose, okay? Now what suppose this component is completed. So what I will do, export. Now I will write export default. And what's the function name? Counter, right? So what I will do, once this function is completed, we will import this function in app.js. In app.js file, we will import this component. I will write here import, right? What's the component name? Counter from components slash counter.js, right? So this is the code we have to write. Now I will use the component. Okay. Now let's save it and let's check the output. Okay, so this card header and body is coming. Okay. Now let me give more styles to it, right? So what I will do here, in card header, I will give some background color as well. Like I will give BG. BG means background success, right? And I will give text color as white, right? Now check. So header is coming like this and body is coming like this. So instead of using h1 tag as a header, what exactly I will use? I will use p.h3. h3 is a bootstrap class for heading. Okay. And here I will write counter. See, now it's looking better now. Okay. After that, inside the body, what I will do, inside the body, so I inside the body, basically I will display here. So let me delete this P10. I will write here p dot display 4. Display 4 is the bootstrap class. Okay. And I will initial value I will take as 0 only. Okay. So see, 0 is coming here. Okay. After that, what I will do, I will create the buttons. Right. What I will do, I'll create the buttons just after the P10. Okay. So I will write here button dot btn, which is bootstrap class btn. Like color, I will give btn success. Okay. Then dot btn small. That's it. Okay. And here I will write increment. Let me write increment now. Okay. So increment button is coming. Okay. Now what I will do, I will create another button dot btn, right? Btn, like what I will write, I will give the, let me give danger color, danger dot btn small sn. And this is what decrease. So spelling decrease, I think spelling is correct. Okay. Now see, there is no margin between, so I will give some margin as well. So for giving the margin, I will write here mx3. Mx means this is the left and right margin I'm giving. If I'm writing here my, so means this is the top and bottom margin. X means x-axis margin, like uh, like left and right margin. So I'm giving left and right margin as 3. Okay, so can you see? So now I will use event handling. When I click on this button, it should be increment, and when I click here, it should be decrement. So this is the work of event handling. Okay, so we will what we are going to do actually. Okay, so let me tell you what we are going to. Okay, suppose here is what? Here is our card, and here we have our button. Okay, So on this button, what we will do, we will create an event handler. Okay. So what happen when we click on this button, a function, we will create a function. Okay. Like for example, I'm writing here fs. Okay. For example, I'm just giving an example. When we create when we click on this increment button, this function will call, and this function will increase the value of this. Okay. So we will use the state as well. Okay. So okay. So how we can do this? So here we will write like on click. So please try to understand here. Okay. So in JavaScript, basically what we do in JavaScript, basically we write like on click. This is what JavaScript style. Okay. This O is small on click, right? But in React.js, we will write like on click. Can you see the difference? Here C is capital, but here C is small. Okay. So this is the basic difference. We will write capital C on click. Okay. So on click, we will create a function. What would be the function name? So inside the curly braces, I will write the function name like I'm uh, giving the function name like increment. Okay, whatever function name you want to give, you can give. Okay, and here on click, I will give another function. What is the function name? Decrement. Okay, right. Okay, so here after the return. Okay, what I'm trying to say, on the top of the return, we will initialize the state. Okay, so how we will initialize the state? So we will write here let count. Okay, or we can say state and set state. Okay, I will tell you the concept of state and set state. Don't worry about it. Okay, so I will give the initial state. So inside here, I will use state. Okay, so I'm giving the count as 0. I'm giving here count as 0, right? Okay, so basically, instead of writing here 0, instead of writing here 0, okay, where we are writing 0, like for example, okay, so what's the error is coming? Whenever we use this hook, use state, okay, so we have to import this statement like import React, right? And then use state from React. Okay, now error will come. Okay, undefined increment or decrement. Okay, now it is asking for increment and decrement. So let me create the function also. I will tell you, don't worry, I will tell you what is the use state. This is a new concept. Okay, you have to have little patience. Otherwise, you will feel like this is a difficult concept, but it is not actually the difficult concept. I will tell you. Okay, so what functions we give on click? We have increment function and we have decrement function. So let me quickly create these functions. So how we will create this function? We will write here like const. Okay, we will create arrow function only. So we will write here const and function name increment. Okay, and then equals to, right, arrow and this, right. So let me quickly create the decrement function, otherwise error will come. Okay, if I will not write this function's signature, then error will come. Decrement versus spelling decrement, right. So in order to avoid the error, I'm just creating the function prototype. Right. Now error is not coming. So what we are doing, we are actually initializing this state. Okay. So this 0, we will control this 0 by this state. Okay. For example, here what is our variable, or we can say what is our state 0. So instead of doing hard code here, we will write inside the curly braces count. Okay. So what is the count value? Here count value is 0. Let's save this and check it. Okay. So what's the error is coming? Count is not defined. Okay, so let's check what's the error here, why error is coming. count is not defined this way. Line number 30. What is the name of this count only? So we are using count. So let's check what's the method. Okay, so basically we should not write like this. Okay, because this is what state count. So we will write here state dot count. So state dot count. Right now check. Okay, so it's working. For example, if you change the value of this like 12, so what it will display 12. Okay, so we are changing this value manually, but what I want, like this increment function will change this value. Okay, this count value, and this decrement function will change the this like decrement of this count value, right? So this is a basic idea. So what we will do, we will use here set state function. Okay, so what is a set state function? So let's understand set state function first. Okay, so state set state is a function. Okay, set state is a function that takes the old state and replace it with new state. Okay, so please try to understand this. Okay, so set state is what? Set state is a function that takes the old state and replace it with new state. Okay, so try to understand by code. So this is what our old state 12. So we will create here set state function. Set state. Okay, so here is basically set state. It takes old state and then it returns what? New state. So we will use set state. So inside the set state, okay, so this is what for old state. So it is taking what? Old state, and we are using arrow function here, right? And it will, what it will do? It will return what? New state. And how we will increment the value of this count? How we will increment this value, the count value? So basically we will write here count colon state dot count. Where the moment I'm writing state dot count, so I'm talking about this old count, and this is what? New count. So in the old count, state dot count means this is the old count. Inside the old count, so what I'm doing, I'm applying +1. So this is the, this will become what? New state. So set state is a function which takes old state. Okay, and here is the old state, and inside the old state we are adding 1, and we are creating a new state which is this count, right? So this is the basic idea, right? Okay, I think parenthesis error. Fine. Okay, so this is the concept. So let's check whether it's working or not. So it is incrementing. Okay, so what's the concept? So we are using, this is the state. Okay, so what's the current state? 12. Okay, and we are using set state. Okay, set state. So set state, what set state do? Inside the increment function, we are using set state, and set state will take old state. What's the old state? Is 12. Okay, and what it will do? It will create new state. State dot count is the old state. So in the inside the old state, we are adding +1. Okay, so that we can get the updated state, which is incrementing state. Okay, so that's why it is increasing. Let me refresh it. So it is coming 12 when I'm refreshing. So I will say initial state is 0. Initial state is 0. So now whenever you refresh, so it will come to the 0. But decrease function is not working. Decrease function, this decrease button is not working. So what I will do here, we have decrement button here. Inside the decrement button, I will use the same state. So I will write here, please try to understand here. set state. Okay, and here I will write the state name. Okay, state and arrow function, right? And here I will decrease the count. So this will become new value. How it will become new value? How it will become updated count? When we will add in old count. This is what old count. State dot count means this is the initial state we are talking about. This count. So inside this count we are decrementing one, right? So like this we are doing. Okay. So now check whether it is working or not. Let me refresh it. So increment and decrement. Okay. So both are working. So both are working, right? So what we did first, okay, first we created the card class. Okay, we created what? Card header, right? And inside the header we write count, then card body, right? In card body we are displaying state dot count. Whatever would be the state, we will display the state here. And these are the buttons in order to update the state. And in on click we created a function. This is increment, and on the second button we are using another function which is decrement. Okay, and these functions code are written here. Okay, this is the increment function code and this is the decrement function code. Okay, so before writing this increment and decrement function code, what we did, we initialize the state. What we did, we initialize the state. We write here set and we write here state and set state. State is our old state and set state will give it will give new state by taking old state. Okay, use state we are using. So this use state, initial value of use state is 0. Okay, we can say count inside the count, initial value is 0. So with the help of inside the increment function, what we will do, we will call this set state. We will call the set state, and set state will take old state. Old state is what? Count 0. Okay, so what we are doing here, this is a state dot count, means this old state, and we are talking about this 0. So inside 0 we are adding 1 and it is converting into the new count, which is incremented count. Same for the decrement. What we are doing, this set state function will take old state, and inside the old state, state dot count, which is old state, inside the old state we are decrementing 1 and we are updating the count value. Okay, so like this we have created, right? So you can practice this code as well. Once you practice, then only you will understand. Okay, so we created our counter, so you can use it. Okay, so let me give you code so that you can practice. Okay, this is the code for, okay, this is the code of card. Okay, counter.js counter.js code it is. Okay, let me write app.js code as well. If you face any kind of difficulty or any error, you can definitely give me comment. You can write comment, or you can write whatever problem you are facing while creating this program in comment box, right? Okay, so that's all for today. Okay, so once you practice more of event handling, you will get the idea. Okay, in the next video we will again work on event handling. All right, so thank you everyone for giving your valuable time. All right, thank you everyone.